We just went yesterday and saw If in theaters, which was written and directed by the one and only John Krasinski, mainly known for The Office. And the movie was pretty bad. Now, there's two things that this movie is very proud of. It's very proud of the title.
An if is an imaginary friend.
Get it? Imaginary friend?
And it's very proud of its star-studded cast. This movie has a lot of John Krasinski's friends.
Steve Carell, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Louis Gossett Jr., Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, Amy Schumer, Chris Maloney, Sam Rockwell,
Keegan-Michael Key,
Sebastian Maniscalco, Richard Jenkins,
Matthew Rhys, Bradley Cooper.
In a movie that is this star-studded with such amazing comedic talent, the movie really fell short of being funny, really at all. I don't really know who this movie was for. The theater was full of children. I went into the movie kind of expecting it to be like kids kind of attitude, but to be a lot of adult humor. I guess my assumption of that was because of Ryan Reynolds, but I guess I'd missed much of the marketing because the theater was in fact full of children. But the movie really wasn't for kids either. Not because it was inappropriate, but because a lot of the kind of symbolism and the metaphors were something that would go over a kid's head. The only thing that might have really been for kids is the animated imaginary friends, and those weren't anything great. They didn't even take up that much of the screen time. There wasn't any character that I felt like you could really bond with. The entire movie relied on the relationship between this girl and her father, played by John Krasinski, and that was kind of poorly played out. That relationship was very poorly built, so you didn't really care so much about the motivations of the girl. In fact, the motivations kind of came off as this selfish sort of adventure that was supposed to be all for saving her, kind of the memory of her parents and other people's memory of their childhood. But I don't know. This movie really had nothing for anybody. I don't know who it was for. I don't think Sam or I found it to be terribly funny, and a lot of the children in the theater seemed pretty disengaged. There was a lot of just parents just dealing with rowdy kids, so nobody, I don't know who in that theater enjoyed the movie. And again, it was like, I just think with all of the talent that was involved in this movie, it really relied on the star power, on the fact that it was written and directed by John Krasinski, which, to be totally honest, was a big reason we were interested in seeing it. Frankly, I kind of wish we'd seen something else. And pretty early on into the movie, I was just like, I'm not really all that interested in this, just because the tone right out of the gate is very childhood. It gives very straight to VHS vibes. It reminds me a lot. Caden's been watching Clifford, which is a horrible, horrible movie, but it's for kids. And this movie was a horrible, horrible movie that, will kids even enjoy it? I wasn't getting the feeling that they would. It's certainly not something that I would expect Caden to be engaged in, or even a couple years from now him to be engaged in. Again, the story, to really get the messaging of the movie, you kind of have to be an adult. And the humor was, I guess, for children. There's a lot of slapstick humor.
How'd it go? Oh my God.
Also, the animation. I felt like the imaginary friends were really, the animation just looked really poor. I think there would have been something a little bit more endearing about that movie if they had done like puppets or big costumed animals or something, but the animation was really half-baked. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would give it like a 3 out of 10, to be totally honest. Not worth seeing. I don't even think you should see it on streaming. If you're a huge Office fan and you just really love, Steve Carell and John Krasinski, I guess watch it, but I'm just going to tell you, you're not going to get much out of it. It's not going to be a very special experience for you. So, If, bad movie.